go. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Zoom. We've got a few people joining us on Zoom, but hopefully a lot more on Facebook. We're live in the Women in Healthcare UK group, and we've got a great performance today, a bit different to our normal virtual networking for women in healthcare today. Angie Coupe, you're with us. How are you, Angie?
Hi, Johnny, and thanks for having me.
Well, it's your why we're here. You put this on, and just remind people what the virtual networking is all about, what this is all about, what Women in Healthcare is all about. It's about connecting women in healthcare. Why are you so passionate about getting women together in healthcare?
Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Angie, and I'm the founder and the managing director for Women in Healthcare. I've always had a passion about healthcare, women in the healthcare sector, being raised by a woman in the sector myself. So we've then formed this platform, which is a great platform for women to come and network, to come and chat, to share some ideas, to share their experiences as a women in the healthcare sector, and also to share all the any joys, not on mental health issues. And today we are honored to also be hosting another Women in Healthcare through an act. And thanks, Johnny, for the opportunity.
So, Angie, today you've got you're doing a live performance of "Hello, My Name Is," and you're going to be welcoming Brian to the stage. Do you want to speak, have a quick chat with Brian, pass it to Brian, and then I think we're going to have a performance.
Yes, we've got Brian Daniels here, whom I've actually had an opportunity to meet face to face, and we, after when we was introduced by a friend or a colleague, where in regards to the plays that he does. And the particular play that in question today is the play that really touched myself and also one of my colleagues. So Brian, I'll let you introduce yourself if that's okay, please.
Okay, thanks, Angie. Hello, my name is Brian Daniels. I'm the author of the play Hello, My Name Is. And there's nothing more appropriate to do this play than for women in healthcare, because the play is about the late Dr Kate Granger, who was a phenomenal person in many ways. She qualified as a doctor and she then became a consultant. But during all of that, and she was still a young woman, she was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. And so her whole approach changed when suddenly from being the doctor, she became the patient. And she was able to see what it was like from a patient's perspective and the way in which people in healthcare, not just women, but men as well, all dealt with her. And it wasn't always the greatest of experiences. So she wanted to create something that would be a lasting legacy. And she and her husband, Chris Pointon, who is with us tonight, and he will speak later, came up with the idea of having hashtag Hello, My Name Is as a very quick and effective way for those engaged in healthcare to build up a rapport rather quickly with a patient. And this campaign, since Kate died, has been rolled out phenomenally successfully. And even during her lifetime, many healthcare trusts took on the campaign and they used it. You've probably seen those little badges saying, "Hello, my name is," with a smiley face. But we wanted to create something very special in terms of a play about how the campaign was created and something about Kate's backstory, because lots of people know Kate Granger by name, but they don't know very much about, the other things she did in her life and that she was very successful at. And I'm sure Chris will talk about this later on. The play was commissioned by St Gemma's Hospice in Leeds, which, like many hospices, cares for people with terminal illnesses. And Kate spent the last 2 or 3 weeks of her life there. And she created a great rapport with the chief executive, who would have been with us tonight, but she is unfortunately on holiday. But the St Gemma's Hospice wanted to do something special to commemorate their 40th anniversary. And that's when they started to talk to me about writing the play. And we launched the play at St Gemma's probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And since then, we've performed this play, all over the country for many, many healthcare trusts, for the NHS national conferences, for the conference of doctors engaged in palliative care, and even toured it to play it to those engaged in GP practices, GP practice managers and receptionists and so on, because it's not just for the doctors and nurses, it's for anybody engaged in healthcare who's coming across people perhaps at their most vulnerable time in their lives. So this is one of 20 plays I've written, and it's a play I'm very proud of and very proud to present it and to actually play the part of Chris. So does that help you, Angie, with some of the background to the play?
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Brian. So we're looking forward to the play. Just to add to kind of like a bit of introduction as well, we've all seen, most of you have seen this badge where whenever we go to the hospitals, and some of us have always wondered, the actual origins of the play of this My Name is badge. And we hope today's play would really kind of bring some light and also help us to honor the late Kate. So over to you.
Okay, well, I think it will do that. And I know Marie Fortune, who is playing the part of Kate, may want to have a word or two as well. Do you want to just tell us, Marie, what it's like playing the part of Kate and how you came to be involved in the play from the outset?
Hello, everybody. My name is Marie Fortune. It's a huge privilege for me to play Kate. It's one of the wonderful things about having a career as a performer is the opportunity to create conversations, bring people together and really make a difference. Kate certainly inspires me very much, and it's my pleasure to help present her story.
Thanks, Marie. So over to you, Brian. The stage is now yours.
Should we get started then? Is that the key to get started?
Do the play.
Brilliant.
And then what we're talking about.
First time ever I saw your face.
Hello, my name is Kate.
Hello, my name is Chris.
I know who you are.
I know you know who I am.
The point is, Chris, when you're an inpatient,
Inpatient,
and you're getting on in years.
Go on.
Well, it must be a bit confusing, with lots of different people coming up to you. Doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, auxiliary staff, porters. Well, just loads of different people.
Right.
Hello, my name is Kate. Dr Kate Granger. The MBE came later, and that was a bolt out of the blue. I'm here to treat you to my story.
And mine.
And his.
It's not long after 9/11. My family in the States felt completely shaken when the Twin Towers came down. The world is a dangerous place. We wanted to see the back of 2001. I was working in retail. I had a great social life. It revolved around the center of the universe.
Huddersfield.
Can I tell the story, please?
Sorry.
Well, it was usual banter. Cars, football, work and girls.
What are blokes like?
It was about 11 and we thought we'd stretch our legs.
It's what he calls dancing.
I'll ignore that one. So we lads are on the floor and these lasses are moving in our direction.
One lass in particular.
One lass in particular.
I said to him, just because I've had a few, don't think you can have your wicked way with me.
She said she loved my black shirt.
Sexy silk.
And amazing aftershave. We danced. She tried to hold me tight, but I'm a bit slimmer now.
You're a big bloke and I was drunk.
Well, drunk or not, our eyes met during that dance.
The first song the DJ played after midnight was Hero by Enrique Iglesias.
We hear the first verse of Hero by Enrique Iglesias. The music fades and we're in a student flat in Edinburgh. Chris enters carrying a bunch of roses.
Welcome to Edinburgh.
Well, it's not Yorkshire.
I'm loving it, but I miss home a bit. Are those roses for me or for girl in flat next door? I missed you more though.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Miss me more? More than your family?
Well, maybe not more than my family, but I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah.
It's mad. I've only known you a few weeks.
Shall I put the roses in water?
Well, I ain't got a vase. I wasn't expecting to need one. Hang on, there's a water jug somewhere. They're beautiful. I'm in love, but I've got to be sensible. I'm 20. I'm going to be at uni for another 3 years. My priority has got to be medicine.
I'm ambitious, as you well know. It might not be medicine, but I love my job at Asda HQ and I'm expecting a promotion. I'll get a car with that job, a big pay rise, and then we can apply for a mortgage.
I'm in Edinburgh. You're in Leeds. And once I'm qualified, I'll be quite capable of getting my own mortgage. Thank you very much.
But together we can get a bigger one.
What are 2 pedals on an automatic car?
Accelerator and brake.
Right, so less acceleration and more brake, please. My priority is to study, to qualify and... Oh, come on, Chris. Put a smile on your face. We've got the whole of our lives ahead of us.
Agreed.
I can't dance anymore. Can't play the flute. Lost my hair. Clinging on to my job because... well, it's the only thing I've got left to cling on to apart from Chris.
She doesn't cling. She's still a whirlwind. When we consummated our relationship that weekend in Edinburgh, we thought we had all the time in the world. We got engaged on New Year's Eve 2002, exactly a year after we met, and we were married on the 23rd of July 2005, 3 months before Kate's 24th birthday. She just qualified, I had the mortgage, and our love for one another was rock solid.
We had this life plan, big house, expensive car.
Private schooling for the kids.
No, we did all right at village school and comprehensive down road, and that's what I want for our kids.
I'd be a high-flying executive.
I'd make it to be a consultant, the ultimate power couple.
Soulmates to the end. I love it that you're Sherry, what is it?
Trician. Why not? Chris understood my love of older people. He was devoted to his grandma and he wanted her to be around for as long as possible. And she did live into her 90s. She put it down to having a glass of sherry every Sunday. Older people, they're a source of wisdom and humour. People moan about people living too long, a drain on NHS resources. But why shouldn't we all try and live as long as we possibly can? All we know is life. And some of these older people, look, they've served their country, they've paid their taxes, contributed to the economy, and given our generation opportunities we might never have had. And that's why I love geriatric medicine. That's why I have a little weep when I lose a patient. There's no money in it. Well, good. It's the way it should be.
Yeah, but if you're a plastic surgeon...
Yeah, I'd have a shed load of money, but no job satisfaction.
Point taken. I'm so proud of you and your vocation. Even when someone's so old and so ill, you never lose interest.
Well, they're people before patients. Whatever their age, whatever the sickness, they just want to live another hour, another minute, another day. And if I can help them to the very end, and it's not always the end, thousands get better and go back home to enjoy their lives again. They deserve the best.
Well, they've got the best. They've got you.
Oh, it's not just me, Chris. It's the whole team. Look at Ali, totally dedicated and caring, working in rubbish conditions most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems so unfair. I mean, all things being equal, we'll all get old one day.
Will we?
Well, I hope so. I want us to be together forever. I love you, Kate.
And I love you. Now, I'm going to bake a special Victoria sponge and some scones for Ali's birthday tomorrow, and we can share them with the whole ward. You can do the ironing.
We say scones.
The ironing, Chris. The ironing.
It's the summer of 2011. Kate and Chris are on holiday in the United States. Kate is on the phone to Ali, her friend and colleague.
It's just this hollow feeling and pain in my groin. I think I'd say lethargic, but I don't want to spoil things for Chris. Yeah, I'd say it's a bit on the high side, yeah. I just, look, sorry, Ali, look, he's coming back in. I'll call you later. If you have any ideas what it might be, text me.
You should just see the hire car. It's a Cadillac. We've got it for a couple of weeks. I did a special deal. It's one of the old ones with great big wings, beautiful bench seats, gears attached to the steering wheel. Probably only does about 5 miles to the gallon. But petrol's so cheap out here. There'll be a challenge department. Who cares? It'll be like being in the movies.
What colour is it?
Blue, sort of sky blue. It'll make you want to learn to drive.
No, thanks. I prefer to be driven.
Oh, why not? You'll be more independent. And if we have...
Don't, Chris. I'm not even ready to think about it.
Well, there's loads of time. You're right, darling. You're looking a bit flushed.
I'm good.
So it's a 2-hour drive down to John and Jen's, and they've got their own pool. We can take our swimming gear and loads of suntan cream. We can have a good chill out. I hope I can still get into my Speedos. I think I've put a bit of weight on. Are you okay, love? You've gone really pale.
Oh, it's just the big portions. Oh, God, I feel sick.
What's wrong? Don't move. Let me get you a bowl.
It's just the thought of food.
Well, I'll get you some water. Have you got a temperature?
I'm a bit hot. Yeah, maybe a slight temperature. Would you mind calling Jen and John? Just say we'll be a bit late.
Yeah, no problem. She couldn't stop vomiting, complaining of stomach pains, and her temperature went sky high. It was a beautiful drive down the motorway. I kept stopping to take photographs, but Kate just stayed in the car. I was getting increasingly concerned. When we arrived at John and Jen's, Kate could barely stand. I told her, and my Uncle John agreed, that she should go straight to ER. She didn't protest. He drove us there. The Amex card was useful. We had to pay $250 before they'd even see us, and we were asked loads of questions about medical insurance. It was clear then that Kate needed to be an inpatient. We were then told that because of the severity of Kate's condition, she would need to be admitted to the Dominican hospital Santa Cruz. My heart was in my boots. I don't know who was the most scared, Kate or me. I had to put a brave face on it for Kate's sake, but she knew and I knew we were in for a rocky ride.
I spent 2 nights there. The X-ray had revealed an aggressive mass in my tummy. I had my kidneys drained, and this brilliant consultant told me I wasn't in great shape, that they'd drug me up, get me a medical fit to fly note, and back to the UK ASAP. I'm so sorry, Chris. You had to make all those phone calls home, break the news to friends and family. Our dream holiday was ruined. I feel pretty bad about that.
That's not important. My dad picked us up at Heathrow and we went home for a couple of days before Kate was admitted to hospital in Leeds, where she was eventually diagnosed with desmoplastic small round cell tumour, or DSRCT for short, a very rare and aggressive cancer.
Being a doctor, I was medically curious. Now I'm on the other side. I'm terrified. Well, more than terrified, actually. I'm petrified.
Chris and Kate are at home. Kate's wearing a turban.
Home sweet home. Hello, house, weekend leave.
I'm going to run you a great big bubble bath.
Oh, Chris, do you remember that ginormous jacuzzi at that boutique hotel in Lakes? That romantic weekend. Champagne, candles, oysters.
We were a bit giddy, and I thought it would be romantic to sit together in the jacuzzi.
We turned on taps, put about 6 of those posh bubble baths in it, and then came back into the room with 2 big fluffy toweling dressing gowns.
Well, the water must have flowed faster than I thought it would.
We went into the bathroom to be confronted with foam everywhere. And I mean, everywhere. The water had come over outside at jacuzzi. There was nothing for it but to spend a couple of hours using dressing gowns as towels and wringing them out into bath. We couldn't stop giggling.
And I don't know how we found the energy afterwards.
That's enough now, Chris. Don't embarrass me. I'll go and run that bath. I want to phone Ali.
It's 2013. Lights down and up again on Chris and Kate in hospital. Chris is standing by her. How are you feeling?
Woozy.
I wanted to be with you in the theatre.
Really? Not a chance. You wouldn't want to see what they do. What bit of dignity a girl has left flies out the window. It's like being a piece of meat on a butcher's slab. It's funny though, I didn't feel so bad this time.
How do you mean?
Well, you know that guy that came to take me down to theatre?
The porter?
Well, that's just it, Chris, not a porter. He's got a name. Brian.
So?
So he said to me, "Hello, Kate. My name's Brian. I'm taking you down to theatre today and I'm going to be looking after you." I felt human again. A real person, like not a doctor, not a patient, just a person. He made eye contact with me and he made me feel like I could cope with anything that they did to me.
That's powerful, you know. When you think about it, we wear those badges. Even in Astor, we all have a name badge, the lanyard. But we never properly introduce ourselves.
Well, it's the same in my department. We might say something like, "I'm Dr Granger and I'll be caring for you," but it is all a bit random.
Well, you think it's important, and I think it's important. So stop whinging and do something about it.
Pass me my laptop. I'm going to tweet about it.
Hang on. I've had another thought.
What's that then?
Do a hashtag. Hello, my name is.
And so hashtag hello, my name is was born.
And it was like an epidemic. It started with Kate and her colleagues, and pretty soon everyone in her hospital were introducing themselves. Then I had this idea about creating special badges with a smiley face. Because it's not just what you say.
It's the way that you say it, with a smile, eye-to-eye contact and positive body language or a firm handshake. These are the little things that make such a big difference. Why should the doctor be more important than the patient?
Well, you're the most important person in my life. Oh, the number of retweets you've had, it's amazing. It's in the thousands now.
I want you to make me a promise, Chris.
Yeah, your wish is my command.
Let's go global on this. I'll push it as hard as I can while I've got the energy. And when I'm gone or no longer have the energy, you push it with all your might. Get the healthcare professional and patient working together as one.
You've got it. Lights down and up again. It's July 2012. Kate is on the phone.
Oh, I don't know. I've never spoken live on radio. Well, I can ask my husband to give me a lift. How long will it take? Look, can we just do it on the phone? I'm a bit incapacitated at the moment. Oh, just hold on a minute. My husband's just walked in. I'll ask him. They want me to go on BBC Radio Leeds. They want me to go to a studio, but I'm really nervous. But they're being really insistent. If I say yeah, will you come with me?
What do they want you to talk about?
Well, I ain't asked them, but I think it's about being a doctor with terminal cancer.
Oh, well, that's something you can talk about at great length. Don't be nervous. Say yes.
Yeah, he says he'll bring me. Be gentle with me.
That was one of her later interviews. She was in pain and nervous, but she wanted to promote the campaign. She was a natural. the requests for newspaper interviews, TV appearances became a daily occurrence, and she became quite savvy at knowing how to angle her comments to the customers and the readers. She had no hesitation in rejecting offers that were of the poor me variety.
I had to get my work-life media balance sorted out. There I was battling a life-shortening illness and just trying to be a regular doctor, but the media wouldn't leave me alone. I was quite flattered, really. I was with one of my lovely older ladies, Nancy. She just turned 100, but she was completely with it. And she had a card from the Queen proudly displayed on a bedside table. Her pulse was weak. She was happy to have made a century and she was ready to go now. She closed her eyes for what I thought was last time. Then she opened them again, said she'd seen me on BBC Breakfast and why'd I kept my hat on. We had a good laugh about that, the team huddle. May she rest in peace.
Kate had never wanted the limelight. I think I enjoyed it more than she did. Invitations came in to appear on breakfast TV, afternoon shows, radio shows all over the country. And they wanted Kate to open units, be the keynote speaker at conferences. As the invitations grew, so did her confidence.
I didn't understand what they found so intriguing about me. Yeah, I'd done well in my career, but so did loads of doctors. Yeah, I was young and dying. But as a doctor, it's something you get used to. Life is finite. Death is inevitable. I was keen to be an ambassador to take the stigma away from death and dying. I got involved with Dying Matters Week, where people are encouraged to think about their end-of-life plans. So living wills, funerals, powers of attorney. And before I die, I would like...
What, Kate? What would you like before you die?
I've got a bucket list.
Steady on.
Well, you asked. I want fish and chips in Whitby.
Fish and chips in Whitby?
Why? What's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's just that I'm on a diet.
All right, then. What about another trip to California? Watching a live cricket match, seeing the Cause in concert, meeting the Queen.
Oh, they disbanded years ago after that Freddie Mercury died.
Not that Queen, the Queen.
Well, that's a big jump, isn't it? From Whitby to Buckingham Palace.
Do you know what I want most of all, Chris?
Go on.
I want to renew our wedding vows, if that's all right with you.
Let's do it. It'll be like getting married to you all over again. Oh, love, that's a big one.
Then I just want to be well enough to work for as long as I can. I know I'm sick. I don't want to bang on about it. I don't want it to be an excuse for not going into work, and I don't want to let the team down. I just want to be Kate again, not a poor someone who seemed to be battling a cancer. I'm not battling it. I'm living it, and I'm loving my life. Oh my goodness, is that the time? We promised Adam and Beth we'd be there by 2:30. I'll get my skates on, we can still make it.
And that's what she's like. Never wants to be late, never wants to let anyone down, however bad she's feeling.
We made it. Bang on 2:30. Wish I could see more of my brother. He's more like my twin. He's only 1 year, 9 days older than me. That was a surprise for Mum and Dad. He's bright, but I'm brighter. I was moved up a year at school, so that put us in the same year. Adam and Beth have got kids, Jacob and Sophie. I thought I wouldn't be here to meet Sophie, but here I am. Chris and I had to accept after that first diagnosis that we could never have kids together. But I want Jacob and Sophie to remember their Auntie Kate. I've made this little book for them with lots of photos of me and their dad when we were kids. I've even put a copy of my old school report in there, all grade A1s, just a little reminder for our Adam that I was always the brighter one. I'm only joking, he's absolutely brilliant. Just not as brilliant as me.
Right, something to tick off the bucket list.
What's that then?
Only tickets for the Cause in concert.
That's an excuse for a new frock. I went to the monsoon sale and I couldn't decide between the red one and the blue one. So I got both, don't tell Chris.
You're getting more speaking invitations than you can shake a stick at. They're going right through into 2017. Don't
you dare accept anything beyond April. I'll probably be too ill or dead. Oh, I love these black boots. I'm going to see if I can get them in my size. They're a bargain. Here I
am lolling around in bed ordering fashion boots and I should be doing the housework.
She's enjoying herself.
How can a nurse care for up to 14 older, dependent people with multiple health problems and complete discharge planning procedures safely? In fact, how can one occupational therapist look after 41 people, most of whom need therapy input? How can one pharmacist and one pharmacist technician do all the work related to medication on a 41-bedded ward? I've been under constant pressure since I started as a consultant. I stay late every day, as do our junior doctors who are also understaffed.
That was one of her tweets in February 2016. She was in the last 6 months of her life. She still cared passionately about her work and the conditions.
The boots arrived today. After 6 weeks, they don't realise that some people that buy the products might have a limited lifespan. Oh, they're gorgeous. But they might not fit me fat legs now, that's annoying. Probably won't get the wear out of them before the summer. And I definitely won't be here in winter. But I love them all the same. My old ones are 9 years old and looking proper scruffy.
In March, she started to feel really unwell.
I wrote in my blog, I've not been overly well lately. Because of that, I got scanned last week. I got the results this morning, 11th of March. Scans showed that the cancer's getting worse everywhere and has taken up some new residents near my liver and in my lung. Not a shock, but need time to process. The consultant gave me a hug.
She kept her boots on all day. She was determined to get the wear out of them. By the 24th of March, though, she knew she was living on borrowed time. The 5-year survival rate for her type of cancer is 0%. We had to work through the rest of that bucket list, though. One of the big things was to go over £250,000 target to raise money for different charities.
He's the most amazing guy. He's walked the Great Wall of China, the West Highland Way, the Windermere Walk.
Tell them what you've done. Go on.
Well, I don't know how, but I managed to swim the length of the English Channel in our local swimming pool. And amazingly, I've sold 27,000 copies of the book I've written about my cancer journey. Chris didn't bargain for any of this. His plans, our plans, dreams, aspirations, ambitions didn't include cancer. He could have walked away, but it never even occurred to him. He's been the love of my life and I of his. And the thought of being apart scares me much more than dying. It's been apart from Chris that terrifies me. It's the 17th of July, 2016. I think I'm nearing the end now.
She'd always wanted to die at home. Not our home, but the home of her mum and dad. The house she'd grown up in. She'd paid 2 visits to St Gemma's Hospice in Leeds, where she'd spoken to the staff about her career and cancer journey. She loved the environment of St Gemma's, that cared so diligently for her friend Katie. She developed a Twitter friendship with their chief executive and medical director. So although she always resisted the thought of moving into a hospice, if that's the way it had to be, then St Gemma's it would have to be. St Gemma's told us that I could be there too for as long as I wanted and sleep there, so it became a no-brainer.
The nurses are so brilliant. One told me not to sit up all night, just to buzz, and she'd come and sit with me until I fell back asleep.
The last day was a bit of a blur for me. It was the 23rd of July 2016. It was our 11th wedding anniversary. Kate had planned it that way because she liked neat endings. The family were all around. Me, her mum and dad, my mum, and her brother Adam. We took turns to hold her hand. Her eyes closed. Then she opened them, looked directly at me, smiled, and the final breath left her body.
Thank you all for being a part of my life. Please look after my amazing hubby. P.S. Don't let him spend all his money on buying a Range Rover.
You fill up my senses like a night in a forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses, come fill me again. Come, let me love you, let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter, let me die in your arms.
Kate,
What? Oh, hello. What have you been up to?
are you forgetting something?
Oh, sorry. Hello, my name is Kate. I'm no longer here, but my name lives on through my lovely husband, Chris, and the brilliant campaign that we created. So wherever you are, whatever the situation, just put a smile on your face and say, hello, my name is. And the patient will feel that you really know and understand them. And I hope, through hearing my story, that you know and understand me.
The lights fade to black. That's the end. Thank you very much.
Well done. The applause came a bit early, but apologies. But what an emotional, fantastic play, Angie. I had to turn your camera off, but if you want to turn it back on, please do. But yeah, how absolutely fantastic. Is it okay to say that I enjoyed watching it? Angie.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just really untouched. I've seen the beds a few times, several times, hospitals, GP surgeries. I've tried to do some research, but this kind of like, gave me that connection, bit of like something to more like a live to relate to. And thank you very much to Brian Daniels and to Marie for the play. Yes, Jenny, I think, yes, it's safe to say that you enjoyed the play. Yes, I personally enjoyed the play.
And I was going to bring Chris on, who's here now. Did you want to talk to Chris and Angie? Chris, I know that you've been campaigning. Just tell us about the campaign that you've been doing since, is it 2013?
Yes. Firstly, hello, my name is Chris, and thank you so much, Angie, and to Jane and to yourself for hosting the performance this evening. It's as it always is, it's been a great performance by Brian and by Marie. Thank you so much once again for playing Kate and I so beautifully well. And yeah, like you said there, the campaign has been going since 2013 now. And obviously, when Kate, commenced the campaign back then, she never expected it to, trigger off a global phenomenon like it has done. And obviously, with Kate dying in 2016, the first 3 years of the campaign very much were around Kate and around spreading the story and the message of the campaign. And my commitment to that was that when Kate died, I would continue that alongside my usual career. However, I did take a year out, over 2017-18 to take the campaign around the world and talk at events and spread the campaign to, healthcare organisations across the world, but also, to other organisations as well, because it's a human connection between two people, and an introduction goes a long way in starting that relationship between those two people. So, yeah, and I continue to do as much as I can alongside, like I said, my career, and also getting on with the next stage in my life as well. But the play perfectly tells the story of Kate and I's life, and puts it across in a way that is that people can relate to as well, I'm sure. And every time I attend the performances, it does stir up a whole host of emotions, as people can probably expect it to. But all I know is that it's making a difference, and the legacy will continue through people such as yourselves in healthcare that are making that difference.
Chris, I'd like to really start by saying thank you so much for allowing the world to the opportunity to to listen to the whole story through the play. And thank you for sharing that more like a private life really to the world, and thank you for keeping the legacy. Just to a bit of an introduction here about Chris, who is the husband of the late Kate Granger. So Kate Granger, who passed away in 2016. So for those of you who wondered who just saw Chris coming in, so the Chris was played by Brian, and thank you very much, Brian, for putting up the accent as well, and Maria, the Yorkshire accent was also brilliant. I've got a few, a few live session with just a few questions to you. I'll start with you, Chris, before I introduce our lovely Mary. So what was the deciding factor for Kate to launch the Hello, My Name Is campaign? I know you've heard a bit of, some of it on the play. I heard the part of the pod when the porter introduced herself, but maybe I'd like to put that as a specific question over to you, please.
Yeah, so it was the 30th of August 2013, and Kate was in hospital on this one particular day, and she noticed that not many people were introducing themselves on this one particular day. And as the day went on, this was starting to really agitate and annoy Kate. And obviously, being from a healthcare background herself, she realized that she could do something about it, and she was starting to moan about the lack of introductions. And we just said, why don't we do something? Because Kate had a big social media presence at that time, and I think at the time she had around 20,000 followers on social media, because she was an inspirational figurehead even then, before the campaign. And she started to tweet about it and tell her story, and people were embracing the campaign from all parts of the UK and across the world because of the social media network. And it just took off, because I think the premise behind it is it's a simple thing to do. It doesn't have to cost very much money, if at all, and we can all do it. And that's why it was such a success, and that's why it continues to be a success, because it's such a simple concept that that Kate came up with.
Thank you very much for sharing that. So did you ever think that the campaign would become such a global phenomenon? So, because we've got women in healthcare here who will be listening to some of them will be watching the live now. We've got some who are already here, and obviously we'll also be sharing the recording out there. So I know some people just wear the badge without maybe knowing its origins. Some people have seen the badge in, in hospitals, in GP surgeries. I personally recently, walked into a surgery and I tried to explain to the nurse who was wearing the badge, trying to educate her and, about the whole hashtag. So did you ever think the campaign would become a global phenomenon at the time?
I think right at the very start, there's various, tweets and messages that Kate put out there on social media to say that she was really surprised as to how much uptake the campaign got. But also on the flip side to that, she was quite saddened by the fact that it was needed, because who'd have thought that people weren't introducing themselves? And although we know that many people will have been introducing themselves, Kate was, surprised that there was a lot of people that weren't introduced themselves, and the examples that were coming through to us were, like I said, quite surprising to her. But even before Kate died, she knew that she'd sort of created something that was going to certainly outlive her, but outlive, all of us and, future generations, because it will continue. And it's now 8 years old and it's embedded in so many organizations across the world. It's just part of inductions and part of what organizations actually do now. Having said that, it is good to know the story behind the campaign and behind the logo on badges. And if we direct people to the website, there is videos of Kate talking on there, and background to the campaign is on the Hello My Name Is website as well. So yeah, that's a place that I direct people to, because it's not just about wearing a badge, it's about the act of introducing oneself.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Do you mind sharing the actual full website, please?
Yeah, so it's hellomynameis.org.uk.
Thank you. There you go, everyone. So please, let's visit the website. The other question for you is, how do you actually spend your time continuing to share the story and the message? And yes, we just heard the story, but I still believe that we still need to reach out to as many people out there, as many healthcare professionals out there, anyone in the healthcare sector, so that they can really understand, because not everyone really, I can imagine in some places they might not be wearing, still be wearing any badges. They might not be introducing themselves in the best way that the Hello My Name Is brand has been put out there.
Yeah, so just to answer that first point, after Kate's death, I went back to my full-time career, which I've been in for the last sort of 21 years now, but continued to talk at events and manage the website, and also manage the promotion of Kate's 2 books, because she wrote 2 books as well about her experiences, which you can buy from the website, and the profits from those books do go to the 2 charities that we support. So they're available still. I then took a career break where I did over 200 talks in a year across the world. But then I made a decision that I would still be part of the campaign and still be the ambassador for the campaign. However, for the next chapter in my life, I wanted to go back to my full-time career. And I was very fortunate for the business that I work for, that they give me time and space to be able to do the campaign alongside my career as well. And that's what I'm currently doing. So, over the last 18 months, in the times that we've been in, we've done several, Zoom talks and play performances. And prior to that, I've been doing talks as well, not as many as what I was doing before, but continuing to keep the campaign alive and talking at events alongside my full-time career, which, working in supply chain, is currently quite a busy job.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris. Honestly, I can't really emphasize how much we grateful we are just having you here today, and also just for you, so that you keep, for the legacy that you've kept for Kate. Also, I'd like to thank Brian and Mary, who have played, who have been the cast of the play. So I'll start by reintroducing Brian. I know you are also the writer of this play, and you've actually established an award-winning playwriting for the other 20 other plays in the in different credits, which included The Good and the True, NYC, Broadway, The Plug, London, and also commissioning writing centers of contemporary health and social issues, including onset dementia, historical child abuse, and Holocaust. So Brian, I've got a few, thank you very much for putting this together. It's really amazing. Not only did you actually write the play, but you also, be casted on the play. My question to you, Brian, is, can you tell us maybe a little bit more about yourself and how you became involved in writing? It would also be an honor to learn how you met Chris. I think one of the questions I asked you when I first met you was, wait, did you get the privilege of meeting Kate?
No, I didn't have the pleasure or privilege of meeting Kate, because all this happened after Kate had died, I think. Yeah, it was after Kate had died. So it was once St Gemma's had suggested the idea of doing a play based on Kate's life, that I arranged to meet Chris, because obviously the whole success of this would depend on Chris being interested too, because there are many private statements in that play, you know, parts that are kind of quite private and quite difficult to share with a big audience. And I wanted to deal with it sensitively. And I had quite a few meetings with Kate. I think first of all, Chris came to see another play that I'd written that was being performed somewhere, so he could see the style of work that I did. And then we had a few private meetings, and gradually, you know, I wheedled out of him more information. And also I had meetings with the colleague we refer to in the play, Ali, who was a doctor at St James Hospital in Leeds and was one of Kate's colleagues. So I tried to understand Kate from different people's perspectives too. So Dr. Allison was there. I met the chief executive of St James Hospital, Leeds Teaching Hospitals, again, to try and get an overview of the kind of person Kate was, apart from the personal relationship with Chris. And I don't think it was anything wrong, Jolly, to say you enjoyed it, because it's a love story, isn't it? It's a love story between two people that sadly didn't turn out as they expected it to turn out. And who of us knows in life what's going to happen to us? You know, events overtake us, and we deal with it. You know, we find a way of dealing with it. And I guess that's what drew me, those kind of philosophies drew me to writing plays about health and social care originally. How did I start writing? Well, for a number of years, I had theatres in London. I owned 3 theatres in London. Well, I owned one and I had the leases on the others. And I produced probably more than 200 plays, by and large new writing, new plays. And I thought to myself one day, I'm sure I could write a play that's as good as some of these plays I'm producing, if not better, but if not worse. And so I sort of made a decision to give up my theatres and to start writing full time. Fortunately, I was in a position where I could do that. And the first play I wrote was a play called, I can't remember what it was called now, Where's Your Mama Gone?, which was a play about Richard McCann, who was the son of the first victim of the Yorkshire Ripper. She was called Wilma McCann, and she was murdered in 1975, leaving behind 4 children under the age of 6. And I was interested to find out what happened to the children and what the children's story was, because we knew what the mother's story was. Anyway, that play ran in Leeds for 6 weeks. I got quite a nice grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund to explore heritage loss in looked after children, which is what Wilma's children became. They became looked after children, as fostered or adopted children. And that play then transferred to London. So I knew then when I had the reviews of that play, which were generally pretty good, that I could write a play. And I then went on, and as you said, Angie, I've written now 20 plays. But more recently, most of the plays have been about health and social care. My most recent one was launched in Sheffield a couple of weeks ago. It's about the disproportionate number of young men who commit suicide. And that play is called Is the Patient Breathing? Again, based on a real story. And I've got 3 new commissions that I'm currently working on. One's about I can't say much about it, but it's about a case of corporate manslaughter in a hospital, a big NHS trust and a local authority. Another play about the impact of COVID in care homes and the staff who work in care homes. And another one about the stress that doctors have been under during the recent COVID crisis. So again, I seem to have found this niche in writing plays about health and social care, and that satisfies me, because all we ever want to do in the world is to try and make a difference for good, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And thank you very much, Brian. Really, you did really, this particular play have really touched on all areas within the healthcare, from the receiving end of a patient, being Kate, and who also happened to be the healthcare professional herself. Now, my other question is, how important is it like really to highlight different, like, the whole perspective within different areas of the healthcare?
Is that question addressed to me?
Yes, please. Say how important is
how
it?
important is it?
Yes.
To highlight different perspectives of healthcare?
Yes, of areas within the healthcare based on this particular place. So what message have you got for somebody who's in the healthcare sector, or from the receiving end, let's say the doctor, the nurse, the carer? So how important is it for them to implement what the legacy of Kate?
Yes. Yes, you want people to just step back a little and look at their working practices and their behaviours. We all know that when somebody's working in a busy hospital or A&E department, or a busy ward, or in a busy GP practice, that is your working arena, and you're familiar with it, and you don't look at it from the perspective of somebody coming into that, who may be a patient, maybe the relative or close friend of a patient, who may be at end of life, maybe having a really difficult time. And you can be sometimes a little bit dismissive or a little bit businesslike with them, because your working day and you've got lots of things to get through. So I just really wanted people, when they've watched this play, to just step back a bit and think, how can I change my behaviour? How am I say, hello, my name is. And I've noticed recently, and I don't know if you've noticed, Chris, that in some of these hospital programmes, the Barnsley Hospital and the St George's Hospital in London, 24 hours in A&E, they're just saying, oh, hi, I'm one of the doctors here, I'm one of the nurses here. And I think that really depersonalises things. And I'm doing some work with St George's, and it's on my agenda to try and get the play done there as quickly as possible. And I've also written to the CEO of Barnsley Hospital, because I think they should be implementing hello, my name is there too. And I think it depersonalises it from the healthcare profession as well. Hello, I'm one of the doctors. I also have a name. I want to tell you who I am, and you tell me who you are as well. And that brings home to me the importance of doing this play. It will always be the case. There'll always be people who slip, who forget about the importance of the introductions. I've written another play that's been reeled out called You Killed My Husband. It's about hospital complaints. And if you get right at the beginning, when you're dealing with a patient and a family, and you're kind and considerate, and you have a rapport, then it's less likely to escalate into a formal complaint when things don't go as well as you had expected them to go. Yes, let's look at behaviours. And many times when we've done this play for conferences, people have had a post-it notes and they've written on it how they're going to change in the future. And that's very heartening for all of us involved with it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. I hope some of the viewers or those who will be viewing after providers who can also go and implement the Hello, my name is inspiration to within their organizations as well. And so before I introduce Mary, who just played Kate, I would also like to ask you just one more question before you go, Brian. The question about your own career on. You've worked with so many big names that you've mentioned. You've mentioned quite a lot of within the healthcare sector, which some of them I'm still really, I'm still looking forward to seeing them. Which one of the big names is your favorite?
Do you mean outside of the healthcare? Outside of the
within.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I love Sue Trunker. Sue Trunker was the head nurse, chief nurse of a big NHS trust that I worked with. And she then became deputy chief nurse of the UK, and she's now chief nurse of Wales. And she's always so enthusiastic about my work, and wherever she's gone, she kind of takes my place with her. And I've now got to see two of the very senior people in Wales. But, you know, I love a lot of these women in healthcare who rise to the top, and they're absolutely brilliant at what they do. There was another nurse called Tracy, I've forgotten her other name now, but she was in Harrogate, and then she went to Bradford Royal Infirmary, and actually, you know, all the time more senior in her job at another big healthcare trust. And again, always kind of promotes my work. So I love, you know, powerful women who promote my work. But outside of healthcare, I've produced Eartha Kitt and Elaine Stritch and Dionne Warwick, and you know, I've worked with many of the Judi Dench. I know, you know, I've worked with many of the great actors and actresses, singers in my career. So I suppose, you know, I'm prepared to work with a few top women in healthcare. None of them could be more difficult.
Angie, I want to know which one of Brian's was his favourite of those big names that he's just mentioned.
Hasn't told me
which was the favourite of the big
Marie
names?
Fortune, right, Brian?
Was it Marie?
There you go. Thank you very much, Brian.
He's still not given an answer. Shirley Bassey.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian. Marie, welcome. Please allow me to introduce Marie Fortune, who played our late the role on our late Kate. Marie, those were really, really big shoes to really to fit in, and you played it so well. You narrated your story, the emotions, I could see them in your face. I was really touched, and honestly, I cannot express how much how much you've demonstrated, because I've watched quite a few videos of Kate, and the way you played it, I could really connect and relate to the whole message that you were playing. So please welcome Marie, who is an award-winning actor and a puppeteer, writer, director, and artistic director of Fawn and Fortune Theatre Company. She also works internationally in theatre and film, and her credits include Hello, My Name Is, of course, and Don't Leave Me Now, Fighting for Life, Finishing Touches, Both Sides, Now Let's Talk, St and Where Is Your Mama Gone? Then we've got Cecily in The Importance of Being Earnest, Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. Oh, okay. Then we've got Agnes and Health Diaries. The list is quite endless, but then also you've also are a TV and film. You've played in TV and film, where you've played the Perfect Choice, Like, and Joe Brand and Kissing. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, how I'll just ask you a few questions about like how you got involved in the play, and like how did you first meet Brian, and how have you first met Chris? How did you feel to then to play this important role, which is a really global and really touching story?
Yes, so Brian's first play that he mentioned, Where's Your Mama Gone? I had an audition for that through my agent. So I went up to Leeds, and that's where I met Brian, and he gave me a part in it. And since then, we've been working together regularly. We have a really beautiful working relationship. And in the last 2-3 years, I've been directing for Brian as well. So I've been directing some of his plays. They all mean a lot to me. I have to say that this play is especially dear to my heart. It's always a huge privilege to play Kate. I adore her humour. I adore her heart, her humanity. And it's just really incredible to have the opportunity to bring that story into the present moment. There's people who have seen the performance and who have said, oh, well, I engaged with Kate on social media and those things, but I never met her. And now I feel like I've met her, like she was in the room for that moment. And, you know, there's no greater privilege for an actor than that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just maybe the last message about the play and about the whole brand. What message would you like to leave us with in terms of like can we continue to honor the brand, the Hello, My Name Is? How can we continue to promote the legacy of Kate?
So I will quote Kate twice on that. One is, why should the doctor be more important than the patient? And the other one is, they're people before patients. Putting the person at the heart of care. And I think that works both ways, because I think, you know, we're talking very much about the healthcare professionals seeing the person, not what they have or the illness, but actually that person coming in, seeing the person, not the doctors, I think is equally important for that relationship together. And I think, and I mean, as Chris will say himself, it's not the hello, my name is, it's the present, it's being there in that moment, the eye contact, being warm, being with them, that just will save so many hours in terms of that connection and actually treating the person, not the illness. That's what I would say. Yeah,
I like the last part where you say during the play, where you say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and that's really, really important. Everyone, for those of all the healthcare professionals who are here today and the ones who are watching, yes, let's go out there and continue the legacy of Kate, but then also while we're doing that, to connect on the, like, you know, how, not only saying it, but how we present ourselves or how we introduce ourselves. I'll hand over to Johnny. Thank you very much, Marie, and really it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
I want to know about the puppeteering that you do. Is that something you still do?
It is, yes. I'm a puppeteer and I have a puppetry theatre company. We have 3 shows currently in development. We have a family show called Mess with an exclamation mark on the end, which is about a princess that likes making a huge mess and she goes to find the tidy up troll. We also have an adult show called This Is Me, which is inspired by the This Is Me form by the Royal College of Nursing and the Alzheimer's Society. And that's an exploration with young onset dementia.
Wow. We didn't know that, did we? Well, some of us
watch this space.
Some of us might have. I think at this point we're going to be saying goodbye to Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, you're about to be cut off. If you'd like to, we're going to be doing goodbye